Hey guys, this is Naman Mittal welcoming you all to Daily News Nuts, an initiative of Prep Nuts. Today the date is 6th of June 2020 and we shall be seeing all the articles that are important from the exams perspective. आज near about 3 articles हैं हमारे पास from the Hindu, 1 article is there from Indian Express and 2 from PIB. In total we shall be seeing near about 6 articles today. Coming on to the front page of Hindu, India-China hold talks agree to resolve differences peacefully. So there is a good news with respect to the ongoing India-China border tensions wherein the foreign ministry level talks have finally taken place. The foreign ministers of both the countries have reviewed their bilateral ties and also the current developments. तो इंडिया चाइना दोनों ने एग्री करा है कि जो भी डिफरेंसेस हैं they would be resolved peacefully and will not become a dispute between both the countries. और दोनों कंट्री ने साथ में ये भी पुश करा है there is need for a peaceful, stable and balanced relations so that India and China can act as a positive factor for the stability in the current global situations. So this is for the first time that a high level engagement between both the countries have taken place. Now one can hope for a consensually reached peaceful solution between the India and China border issue. Moving on to the next article now. Ahead of vote for UNSC seat, India launches campaign brochure. तो यूनाइटेड नेशन सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल के इलेक्शंस अभी ड्यू हैं ऑफ द नॉन परमानेंट मेंबर्स इन विच इंडिया हैज ऑलरेडी सिक्योर्ड इट्स सीट फ्रॉम द एशिया पैसिफिक रीजन. तो इंडिया ऑलरेडी 8 बार नॉन परमानेंट मेंबर रह चुका है ऑफ द यूएनएससी, जिसके बेसिकली 15 मेंबर्स होते हैं. ऑफ देम 5 आर परमानेंट इन नेचर which are US, UK, France, Russia and China, and rest 10 are non-permanent members which are elected by the General Assembly of the United Nations for a period of 2 years. These members do not have a voting right. They can just take part in the meetings on the discussions of the UNSC, and India has been elected as a non-permanent member of the UNSC for 8 times till now. Last time when India was a non-permanent member of the UNSC was in 2011 and 12. India already has decided its objective, what role it's gonna play during its tenure in the UNSC for 2 years. India ने अपने एक objective को abbreviation दिया है, that is NORMS, which stands for New Orientation for a Reformed Multilateral System, and India is gonna follow 5S approach. 5S approach consists of Samman, that is respect, Samvad, that is dialogue, Sahayog, that is cooperation, Shanti, that is peace, and Samriddhi, that is prosperity. So these are the 5S which India has incorporated in its approach to achieve its objective of the norms. तो major issues जो यहाँ पे highlight किए हैं which India will be pursuing after becoming the non-permanent member of the UNSC include international terrorism, United Nations reform, Security Council expansion, streamlining the world's body peacekeeping operations and technology related initiatives. एक important यहाँ पे चीज और mentioned है, that is कि India का ये जो election है that is unopposed. India को कोई oppose नहीं कर रहा है when it is standing or contesting from the Asia Pacific region. There was one country, Afghanistan, but Afghanistan withdrew its application after the India's request. So you can see the warmth between the India and Afghanistan, and it's a kind of acknowledgement of Afghanistan for the India's prolonged endeavor to ensure peace, prosperity and development of Afghanistan. Last time 2011-12 में भी India unopposed, uncontested जीता था, and India secured 187 votes out of the total 190 votes. But this time there are apprehensions कि India को शायद उतने ज़्यादा votes ना मिलें because there are many countries today like Turkey, Malaysia and some countries of the OIC, that is the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, which have openly criticized India's policy, especially with respect to the Article 370. तो शायद India को इस बार पिछली बार जितने votes ना मिले, but it is for sure that India is gonna be member of the UNSC from the Asia Pacific region. So this was a small update with respect to the UNSC seat, and now we shall move on to our next article. Draft rules prohibit use of drones for delivery. Ministry of Civil Aviation has notified the draft rules known as the Unmanned Aircraft System Rules of 2020. So these rules basically will be regulating the drones in India. इस आर्टिकल में मेजर पॉइंट्स मेंशन नहीं है ऑफ द रूल्स मेंशन अंडर द UASR 2020 which is the Unmanned Aircraft System Rules of 2020 released by the Ministry of Civil Aviation. तो हम important rules and guidelines देख लेते हैं यहाँ पे. First is the regulatory authority for the drones in India would be the DGCA or the Directorate General of Civil Aviation under the Ministry of Civil Aviation. So all the drone importers, manufacturers, traders, owners and operators will have to take permission permission from the DGCA before manufacturing, trading, or operating any drones in India. Second is that DGCA will have powers to inspect the unmanned aircraft systems. Next is that there is mandatory third party insurance for the drones to take off. Without this third party insurance, no drone has permission to take off. There shall be a unique identification number for each and every drone, which would be given by the DGCA. DGCA has also classified drones into 5 types, that is nano, micro, small, medium, and large. This classification has been done on the basis of the weight of the drones, starting from 250 grams to 2 kgs, 25 kgs, 150 kgs, and more than 150 kgs. So in India, nano class drones are permitted and rest needs to seek special permissions from the DGCA. DGCA shall also allow for the establishment of the dedicated drone ports and drone corridors. And there shall be establishment of the UTM or the unmanned traffic management system, which again would be done in the supervision of the DGCA. With respect to the carriage of the payload, DGCA has not given the permission under these rules as of now. It has allowed the food delivering apps like Zomato and Swiggy to conduct trials dropping articles using the drone. So it is expected that through a notification, these rules in later future can be amended and delivery of the articles then would be permitted. So as of now, drones are not allowed to carry any payload. So these all points mentioned out here are some of the essential points of the Unmanned Aircraft System Rules 2020. And this article is not only important from the prelims perspective, but it is also important from the GS3 internal security perspective. Now let us glance through our article of the Indian Express. What is Atmanirbhar Bharat? This article has been selected because it's kind of an official definition of the Atmanirbhar Bharat, which you can confidently rely upon, as it has been written by the principal economic advisor of the government of India. So the points mentioned out here can be concluded as the government's definition of the self-reliant India. तो self-reliant India initiative जब से start हुआ है, तब से उसका एक criticism हो रहा है by comparing it with the Nehruvian import substitution program, which was run in the socialistic era of Indian economy. But government is repeatedly trying to differentiate the self-reliant program of the 21st century from that socialistic era's import substitution program. तो यहाँ पे हमें बहुत valid points मिलते हैं self-reliant India को define करने के लिए और उसे explain करने के लिए, जो आप अपने essays में भी use कर सकते हैं. और अगर कोई direct question put up होता है with respect to the self-reliant India in mains या interview, तो आप उसको बहुत effectively answer कर पाएंगे. So self-reliant India according to the government of India is the active participation in post-COVID global supply chains. It is not like the idea of self-reliance during the Nehruvian import substitution, which was isolationist in approach. लेकिन जो self-reliant India है, it seeks to actively participate into the global supply chains. Also, it mentions the need to attract the foreign direct investments, जो कि import substitution of the Nehruvian era में बिल्कुल भी allowed नहीं था. So today there shall not be a return to the license permit Raj and the inspection Raj of the socialist era, but the government is trying through the self-reliant India to free the Indian entrepreneurship and innovation from the bureaucratic hurdles. So self-reliant India is in complete contrast with the import substitution. Self-reliant India is about the decentralized localism. This is an important keyword and you should pick it up from here. It emphasizes resilience, flexibility, and encourages the local capacity. It basically skips the socialistic era and goes to the Swami Vivekananda's approach of self-reliance, which included resilience, leveraging internal strengths, personal responsibility, and a sense of national mission. Whenever you are asked to speak or write about this self-reliant India, you should not skip Swami Vivekananda, because this is gonna give weight to your words out there. Some of the examples of self-reliant India are mentioned in this article. Those examples are part of the recent announcements made under the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan Package 2.0, wherein agriculture sector has been highly liberalized by amending the ECA Act of the 1955 or the Essential Commodities Act by allowing the inter-state trade-free barrier through bypassing the APMCs, and the announcements also enabled the contract farming in India. All these reforms basically gave more choice to the farmers with respect to their produce so that they get better remunerative prices. So self-reliance implies that product and factor markets are made flexible. जैसे कि यहाँ पे एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी प्रोवाइड करी गई है, so as to smoothen the functioning of the entire system and that of all the stakeholders involved in it. Similarly, product and factor markets are made flexible through these self-reliant measures. Another example mentioned out here is the privatization of the non-strategic public sector enterprises, which was again announced under the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan Package 2.0. So self-reliant measures not only provide flexibility, also give incentives and a sort of protection to key industries. It's neither isolationist in approach or it encourages the protectionism explicitly. It just gives the flexibility and a push through incentives so that the indigenous manufacturing ability gets required and much needed boost. It is a kind of creation of safety nets which are also provided to the vulnerable and the individual social groups. So these kind of safety nets are now provided to the indigenous manufacturing. And an example of the safety net mentioned out here is the Ayushman Bharat direct benefit transfer scheme and the use of JAM, that is Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and Mobile Trinity. All these measures provide resilience, whereas the universal basic income or the UBI provides dependence. So self-reliance is not about making the manufacturing capacity or the industries dependent upon the government's incentives or the protection, but making them resilient through the initiatives, incentives and a sort of protection through the safety nets provided to them. यहाँ से बहुत clarity मिलती है of the self-reliant India's objective and approach and how it is different from the import substitution program run during the socialistic era of the Indian economy. So this article is very important and it's definitely gonna help you a lot. Now let us check out our articles from the PIB, an urban forest scheme to develop 200 Nagar Van across the country in next 5 years. तो वर्ल्ड एनवायरनमेंट डे के ओकेशन पे गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने एक नई स्कीम लॉन्च करी है, दैट इज द नगर वन स्कीम, where in 200 urban forests will be developed across the country in next 5 years through people's participation in collaboration with the forest department, municipal bodies, NGOs, corporates and local citizens. तो इसमें सारे stakeholders का active participation ensure किया गया है and this scheme pushes for the establishment and the protection of the urban forest to revive the age-old tradition of the village forest in cities. So urban forest will work as lungs for the cities, will help in the soil moisture conservation, groundwater recharge, reduce air pollution, provide livelihood opportunities to many people, and overall it will try to maintain the ecological balance. तो जो मॉडल सेलेक्ट किया गया है of the urban forest on which the Nagar One scheme will run is basically the Varje urban forest, which is an urban forest of Pune. So this article of PIB is very important from the environment's perspective and it should be studied by you both for prelims and mains. Now let's move on to our next and the last article. Power Minister launches the I Commit initiative on World Environment Day. इस article में सिर्फ एक चीज important है from the prelims perspective, that is the I Commit initiative launched by the Ministry of the Power and New and Renewable Energy to continue moving towards the energy efficiency, renewable energy, sustainability and to create robust and resilient energy system in future. तो एक टाइप से ये एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी से रिलेटेड अवेयरनेस इनिशिएटिव है ऑफ द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पावर एंड न्यू एंड रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी, व्हिच यू शुड टेक अ नोट ऑफ फ्रॉम द प्रीलिम्स perspective. This article being the last article of the day, guys, we shall wrap up the daily news nuts of the day. Please post your suggestions, doubts, queries in the comment section below. Keep learning, guys. Thank you.